Hello, everybody. Are you able to hear me? Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here. My name is Lu Qi. I am the head of ecosystem and strategy at Chainbase. Chainbase is more of an infrastructure project. We help developers and projects get on-chain data to their projects and their infrastructure. Um, Provide the way that they can customize the data pipeline by utilizing the underlying infrastructure. But today, I really do want to discuss with everyone here about the career path in Web3, since I took a longer route than a lot of other people. I started as a banker before, so I think maybe my career path will synchronize with some of you as audience. And if you're exploring Web3, I think this will be a perfect example. And I can share my insights and my background with you guys so that you can, see if some of my career path is similar to yours, and what kind of a routes you can take in order to start your career path in Web3. So let's get it started. Since I'm not controlling my presentation, I will rely on the staff to control the presentation for me. So first of all, I do want to let you guys know that what inspired me to explore Web3. This is what we're going to discuss during this presentation. And then the second part is how I started. And also I want to kind of give you some insights of how to prepare for Web3 jobs and how to land a job, because those are the things nobody taught me when I entered the industry, and kind of just to tumble way through and find out some tips and some insights that really helped me along the way. Let's go to the next slide. So as I mentioned, I didn't start my Web3 journey since I was in college, right? I was a mathematics major, and after school, I started to be a banker at a local bank in the United States. All I did was construction loans, financing, mortgages, etc. So did a lot of a risk analysis and a lot of a client work. But none of those are related to Web3. And as a banker in the United States back then, when you talk about Bitcoin or blockchain, it's a big no-no because we're all thinking that it's a scam. Once in my career, I closed few accounts that people are trying to transfer money from the bank to crypto.com. And we thought it's a scam, so we closed their account. Um, and that was my encounter to Bitcoin and Web3, right? Like closing people's account. And then we went to a few conferences that people are talking about crypto, people are talking about blockchain, especially right after 2020, after COVID. And then I started to explore more. And I discovered about the Web3 due to the banking regulation, because there's like complexity regarding the policies. Should we allow, should we not allow, and stuff like that. So I started to learn a little bit more. There are a few online resources. If you guys are still very new to Web3, there are a few online resources. The one I took is a program started by a German facility. It's called a Blockchain Association. I think it's based in Frankfurt. If you guys search Web3 talent, that is the platform they use. So they had Web3 talents, they have NFT talents, the Bitcoin talents, and also DeFi talents, and etc. So those are the courses I took. They give you homework every other week. You did your presentation, and then you also have your cohorts to discuss about those knowledge. Those are very conceptual, so I didn't really have hands-on experience. It's more about getting this material and learn about it, right? So that's the first step I took in Web3, is really to learn and explore what blockchain is about. But the thing is that I would like to say that key milestone and the lesson learned is learning really isn't enough in Web3. The connection is what really helped me landing my first job. So, of course, when you go through interviews, you do have to understand the knowledge, the basic knowledge. But what really shines is the in-person connection. We can go to the next page and we can discover a little bit more regarding the listener that I have. So, right now, I'm sure you guys already know about Web3, crypto, the whole decentralized internet. One thing I do want to give you the focal point that what really important to me about Web3 is that the community, the transparency, right? The DAOs. And it's a startup. Everyone's still trying to figure out what is going on in Web3 and what kind of projects we need to build. So as a startup contributor, you really get into the details of go-to-market strategy. How am I going to make it work? How do I talk to VC? How do we design this pitch deck? So you actually get to understand the life cycle of a business. Unlike when I first started the banking, everything's already there, right? You take the policy off the shelf, you learn about it, it's not yours. But in Web3, it's community owned. We're still figuring out this technology. We're still figuring out how to onboard more users. So you have a say about what is on the roadmap. And that is what excites me in Web3 is that you see this thing you produced with your team. And either it fails or succeeds. It's still your baby. It's still something that you worked on. So that is the most exciting thing. And the core area, of course, if you like finance, there's DeFi. If you like art, there's NFT. Layer one, layer two, if you understand the code, you're more of an infrastructure person. And there are like a lot of opportunities in Web3. We can go to the next page. Thank you. So when I first started Web3, I was wondering what can I do? I was a banker and I was banker for 10 years. Everything I learned, I didn't think it would apply to Web3 because I was all about centralization and Web3 is all about decentralization, right? And then I was like, maybe I should do hackathon, but I don't know how to code. How do I do hackathon? How do I even contribute? And then I discovered there are more roles in Web3, just like everything else. So there's the technical roles. If you guys are developers, software engineers, there are like a lot of opportunities for you guys. There's a smart contract developers, full stack, front end, back end, security audits. Those are so needed in Web3. And then for those of you who are not technical, this is where you come in because a lot of technical developers don't know how to do those things. Those are community management, those are marketing, product management, project management, design. We need design team. Like it's our powerhouse. And operations, how do you manage people? How do you provide a good workforce, especially everyone work remotely? How do you connect them? And legal, regarding all the policies, so you need to understand, right? You need to understand that the legal policy based on the region you operate in. So there are a lot of opportunities for everyone. As long as you understand one aspect of your expertise or your industry, then you can contribute to Web3. And the third thing is very flexible and remote first. A lot of my teammates, I didn't meet them until 1 year later because we all work remotely, which is great because that's how we are efficient. We work remotely. We have our meetings. It's very agile. Everyone contributes, everyone talks in the meeting and make sure we align our goals and the roadmap and also just so the deadlines, etc. So that actually make us much more efficient. And the year after, we met in person as an offsite event, offsite, work together, and that actually creates much more synergy between all the team members. And also the last point is the fluid roles. This is what I love in Web3 is that I started as business development because that was the first thing I could sign up for, right? I didn't know anybody in Web3. So I was business development and then I did a little bit of marketing. I did a little bit DevRel because I was learning about the back end of the coding. And And then I started to do more marketing. I started to do more operation, then contracts. At the end of the day, I became the head of strategy. So it's very fluid, and as long as you have the eagerness to learn. We can go to the next page. Thank you so much. The Web3 is different. I kind of touched base a little bit earlier regarding the difference between Web3 and Web2, right? The contribution culture, you really prove by doing it. How I landed my very first job, it was I went to a conference, talked to this CEO, I started to network for this project. And I started to make connections between the CEO and the other people. And they saw the value I provided before I even got a job. So during this conference, I land my first job because they're like, okay, I'm gonna sign you for this specific job. And that's how I got my first job is during the conference. I proved myself in front of the team members. I could introduce people to them. I could understand what this protocol is about, and I could easily connect them to other protocols. So this is very open contribution. CV, resume, they are important, but they're just words. They're just on paper. I had one person come to me, wanted to get a job, send me the resume, and I was like, okay, show me your work. She had nothing to show. And she had typos and very little attention to details. To me, that's a red flag. I want to help, but you could not prove yourself by doing it. And then that's something that we really, really care about in Web3. Also, public presence matter more than resumes. As I mentioned, the public presence, when you meet in person, when you say you're able to do certain work, you can show that you can do that work. That will get you hired right away. Fast paced, global, asynchronous. So the fast pace, I want to say, is Web3 changes every 2 months, maybe every 1 month. Like the scenarios and the narratives, they change all the time. So when they change, what do? We need to actually be fast paced and catch up with the narrative, right? The marketing design, the go to market design, everything needs to be up to date. So you need to actually be up on speed and understand what the global market is about. We can go to the next one. So this is how to prepare. This is what worked on me when I was going through the whole process of how to prepare to land my first job. Um, of course, to learn the space, you go to Twitter and you often got lost in the rabbit hole in Twitter. And at the end of the day, you don't even know who you followed because you're just reading after reading, and then you go to another account and then you click into another account. So like it's endless if you don't have a goal. But Twitter really does give you some good information, some humor in Web3 that you're able to utilize, some memes out there who people are talking about and what people are talking about. So you can use that as your conversation starter. Discord, it could be chaotic. I didn't really like Discord, but I think if you have certain questions, you want to get to know the core team, the tech team, Discord, that's the way to go. So I was first learning about infrastructure. I went through the Discord. I asked about the technical questions. YouTube. YouTube also, one thing you have to be careful is if you look at YouTube, you have to look at the time frame. When was it produced? If it was a year ago, you might want to go jump forward a little bit to watch a video that's like 2 months ago or 1 month ago. Because if it's 1 year ago, those protocols probably already had updates. And the information you will have will be outdated, and that wouldn't show that you did your homework. um, and also follow the top builders. So this is very important. The influencers, a lot of those influencers, to be honest with you, are paid. Like people pay them to market or promote certain protocols. But there are a lot of the serious ones, like a Bankless DAO. They talk about the current markets, and there's other influencers such as the credit bureau. They're pretty good as well to talk about the current the policies, the regulations, and also the market condition. So those are things that you need to pay attention to is the whole the market trends by those thought leaders. And the skills, if you're technical, make sure you understand those languages that you need to learn. If it's there's a product, there's a network called Sui, they use Move language. Make sure you understand a little bit more about that. There's Solidity, there's a Rust. So when you go to have a conversation with someone who's in that network or protocol, make sure you know what you're talking about. And the non-technical ones, especially the writing, the community building, I often had a person come to me saying they want to contribute as a marketing person. Show me what you have done. Show me what you wrote. This is something that we pay attention to. If you are a marketing expert, we want to see what you have done in the past. Maybe just a thread on Twitter, maybe something you posted on LinkedIn. Those are the things that you can tell as a storyteller if you're able to contribute to this network. And we can go to the next page. So this will be the first thing I will say. A lot of us wanted to do more research, wanted to explore a little bit more, but I will say if you are looking to land a job, at least internship in Web3, the first thing you're able to do is contribute. Start contributing right away because a lot of the people they hire based on the work you have already done. So join the Discords, join the DAOs, and then you are able to contribute asking questions and attend hackathons if you're a developer. If you're not a developer, you can design, you can do product management, join hackathons, talk to those sponsors, contribute to those open source the protocols and also documentation. Get on GitHub. Maybe there's a typo on their documentation. Make sure you make that contribution. And also make sure that if you learn online, share that with everyone. Tag them so that they are aware that you're actually on top of your stuff. We can go to the next one. How to land a job. And this is what's important. This is very similar to Web2 as well. You go through all those like crypto jobs, the Web3 career, Twitter, maybe they have some job postings, Discord have job postings. You would, but to be honest with you, how you stand out, it really is what I said earlier. What I did, not just to go to the CEO, say I can connect you with this one, this one, this one. What I did was I went through the courses, I did the blogs, I did articles regarding what I learned. I didn't know anybody in Web3 at the time. I pretty much just showcased what I learned. Either it's true or not, maybe me being naive, but I still show you I took my efforts, I made my efforts to learn Web3. And then once I saw the CEO, the founders, I showed them what I learned. I showed them that I'm able to make a difference. At the time, I didn't know anyone in Web3. I only knew that CEO because I applied for a job. And I started to make efforts regarding making connections and understand other protocols, talking to VCs. And they see that you're able to make a difference. They see that what kind of work you're able to produce. They will hire you on the spot. Because in Web3, there are not that many experts, but we want doers. If you're a doer, you should land a job very easily. Let's go to the next one. The real world example. Yes, thank you. The real world example is I would say there are two big blockchain companies. I got to know their DevRels. How? Because they told the founder of those networks say that I want to work for you, and the founder was like, okay, but what? Show me you want to work for us. If you say you can do this, you show me what you can produce, what you can contribute. So those two DevRels, they actually went back. They built a small little thing, the project on top of this network. Went back to the founder, said, "This is what I built. I don't know if I don't know if it's will be useful for a lot of people, but I learned about this protocol based on what I have built. So tell me your insights, tell me your comments, and tell me your criticism so that I can enhance on top of it. But I have learned along the way, and that's how I can educate others." And they get hired on the spot because they showed their efforts. They showed that they are willing and eager to learn about this network. And another real world example, as I mentioned earlier, I got job applicants who wanted to get a job without doing the work. They show me they wanted to interact with the clients, but they even give me a typo when they send it to me saying, hey, I want to work for this network, but name, how can I trust you? How can I trust you if I have you work with us? So pay attention to details. Tell them what you can do, then do what you can say. Do what you told them in order to get yourself on get yourself kind of the spot that they pay attention to you. Otherwise, people will consider this as just one of the applicants, one of the talkers. They are not doers. Those are my examples, and I'm a walking example, to be honest with you, because I was in the centralized career for 10 years, and I came out to be in a decentralized Web3 career path. Really learned my lesson along the way, tumble through, but what Web3 really appreciates is you do and you learn. So a lot of us are still trying to figure out how this protocol works, how we navigate the go-to-market. But if you have the guts, you have the guts, the courage to learn, that will be much better. People will pay attention to you, and people will give you the opportunity for you to shine. Okay, so that is all I want to say for this presentation. I think next slide I just put a page on there for Q&A to see if you guys have any questions. I guess we have no time for questions, so I apologize if I ran over a little bit more. But you have my information here, my X account, my LinkedIn account. So please contact me if you want more advice or want introduction, or if you are looking for internship. We're all here to talk about opportunities, how we can expand the Web3 world. So thank you so much for having me.